Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We're cracking open the case on colorblind glasses today. You know those ones blowing up all over the internet, promising to unlock the entire rainbow or something. Some of you are probably thinking, shut up and take my money. And others, well, you're probably like me, intrigued, but also a little bit, yeah, okay, we'll see about that. Either way, you came to the right place. We're going to try to sort the science from the spin today, and thankfully I've got our expert here to make sure even I can follow along. So let's break this down. What is color blindness really? I think a lot of people, when they hear colorblind, they picture black and white, like an old movie, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty common misconception. Seeing completely in black and white is actually super rare. What most people mean when they say color blindness is really color vision deficiency. It's a more accurate way to say it.
Color vision deficiency. So does that mean it's not always like no color at all?
Exactly. See, most people with color vision deficiency can see colors. It's just that they don't see them the same way as someone with what we'd call typical vision. It's more that certain colors are hard to tell apart, like they're faded or not as bright. Imagine taking a photo and really messing with the saturation.
Interesting. So it's not seeing no color, it's seeing color differently. But what causes that? Is it like a problem with the eye itself?
It's all about these teeny tiny cells in your eye called cones. They're in your retina. Basically, think of them like little antennas. Each one is tuned into a different color. You got your reds, your greens, your blues.
Okay, so those cones are how we see color.
Exactly. When light hits those cones, they send a signal to your brain. And then your brain's the one that's like, oh, it's blue or whatever. But with color blindness or color vision deficiency, something's up with those cones. Maybe they're not there, maybe they're not working right, or maybe the signals they send, they kind of get their wires crossed, you know? And that's when you have trouble seeing certain colors. Red-green is the most common one by far.
And it's surprisingly common, too. Get this. 1 in 12 men has some kind of color blindness. That means you almost definitely know someone who sees the world a little differently. And probably a whole bunch of people who don't even realize it.
That's a lot of people, and I bet a good chunk of them have seen those videos going around, the ones where someone puts on those colorblind glasses and suddenly it's like, bam, brand new world. Right?
Oh, yeah, those videos are everywhere. And man, some of them are pretty emotional. I've even teared up a few times watching. But it really makes you wonder, can a pair of glasses really do that? Like, actually change how you see color?
Well, that's what we're here to figure out. To get into it, though, we're going to have to take a closer look at how we see color in the first place.
Okay, so we were talking about those cones in our eyes, acting like little color antennas, picking up signals. But with color blindness, those signals, they get kind of scrambled, don't they?
Right. It's like they're getting interference or maybe picking up the wrong channel sometimes.
So then how do these special glasses even try to fix that?
Okay, picture this. You're at a party. Music's cranked up, people everywhere, you're trying to talk to your friend, but it's just a wall of sound. You can barely hear yourselves think.
Been there.
Now you slap on a pair of noise-canceling headphones. All of a sudden, boom, you can actually hear the person right in front of you.
Okay, yeah. I'm with you.
Now those headphones, they didn't make all the sound disappear. They just filtered out certain frequencies so you could focus on what you wanted to hear.
Right.
Colorblind glasses, they're kind of similar. They're not actually curing your color blindness. It's more like those headphones. They filter out specific wavelengths of light before they even hit the cones in your eyes.
So they're fine-tuning the signal before it even gets to your brain.
Exactly. And by filtering the light that way, it boosts the contrast between certain colors, makes them pop more, like turning up the volume on the colors that were muted before.
That's really interesting. But I guess how well it works, that depends on what kind of color blindness we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Someone with just a little red-green trouble versus someone with a more severe type.
You're absolutely right. And this is important. If someone has complete color blindness, meaning those cone cells are missing entirely, these glasses aren't going to do a thing. The signal's just not there to work with. It's like trying to listen to the radio with no antenna.
Right.
And even some people with less severe color blindness, there can be other issues. Like if there's damage to the optic nerve, the glasses might not be that effective. We've seen that in some studies.
So it's not a guarantee fix for everyone. People need to keep that in mind.
Absolutely. It's not magic, unfortunately. Speaking of not magic, though, you know what company's really good at marketing?
I bet you're going to say EnChroma, right? Those videos are inescapable.
Haha, yep. They've definitely figured out how to get people's attention.
Yeah, got to give them that. I mean, we're talking about them, aren't we? But let's be real for a sec. Those glasses don't come cheap.
Not at all. You're looking at dropping some serious cash. Easily a couple $100 at least.
Yeah, that's a real investment. What makes them so pricey?
Well, EnChroma puts a lot into research and development. They've got patents on their lens tech. It's designed to specifically target and filter out the wavelengths causing the most trouble. Plus, the materials are top-notch, durable, lightweight, all that.
So it's not just hype. There's some real science behind
Oh,
it.
for sure. Plus, there's the whole supply and demand thing. When something comes along that promises to change how you experience the world, people are willing to pay a premium.
I can see that. But I'm guessing insurance usually doesn't want to cover it, huh?
Sadly, you're right. Most of the time, insurance companies see it as more of a cosmetic thing or a lifestyle choice rather than a medical necessity.
Yeah, figures.
You can always check with your provider, though. Never hurts.
Good point. Good point. Okay, so we've talked about how color blindness works, the different ways these glasses try to help, and even how much they cost. But for someone out there who's colorblind, listening to all this, the big question is, do they actually live up to the hype? So do they actually live up to the hype? That's the million-dollar question.
It's tough to give a simple yes or no. It's more complicated than that. For some people, yeah, they're game changers, no question. Imagine seeing a sunset for the first time, and I mean really seeing it. All the colors, the way they blend together,
Yeah.
or a field of wildflowers.
Or like one of those crazy rainbow sprinkle cakes.
Exactly, things most people take for granted. And even beyond that, just being able to tell the difference between a red light and a green light without having to overthink it, it can be about safety too. But the thing is, and it's a big one, colorblind glasses aren't a miracle cure. We've already talked about how they don't work for everyone. And even if they do work, they don't always work perfectly. Plus, they're not exactly cheap.
Right, it's not like suddenly you've got perfect color vision, case closed.
Nope. Some people put them on and it's like this huge dramatic change. Other people, maybe it's more subtle. Or they see some colors in a way they weren't expecting. Everyone's different.
So what advice would you give to someone who's colorblind and thinking about trying these glasses out? Where do they even start?
First and foremost, go see an eye doctor. Get a proper eye exam. They can tell you exactly what type of color blindness you have, how severe it is, all that. That's essential information before you even think about glasses.
Makes sense. Got to know who you're working with.
Exactly. And like we've been saying, don't get your hopes up too high. These glasses, they might help you see color better, but they're not going to give you normal vision, whatever that means, right?
Right.
And one last thing, do your research. Read reviews from other people who've tried colorblind glasses, especially if they have the same type of color blindness you do.
Oh, for sure. User reviews can be super helpful.
Absolutely. And, some companies even offer try before you buy programs or money-back guarantees, that sort of thing. So it's worth looking into that, too. Yeah.
Great advice. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about how we see color, the different types of color blindness, the technology behind these glasses, the cost, all of it. But it really gets you thinking. Even if these glasses aren't perfect, even if they don't fix everything, it makes you wonder what it really means to see color correctly in the first place. Is there even such a thing? It's something to ponder, isn't it? Anyways, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next time.